than this shot. What are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? This is just terrible. I gotta go after you because you're a really good cinematographer and your editor. Actually, I'm angry at your editor that they put this in here, and I'm angry at your director. Maybe you're all of those things. What are you doing? Hi, back by popular demand. I am reviewing your footage today. I've asked you to send me 60-second clips. I'm gonna be looking at your cinematography, the setups, how it all flows together. That's an honor because the doors are open for the Art of Documentary. That's our course in Academy. We have a course in that called the Cinematic Eye, over 70 videos, pro, expert, in-depth tutorials on how to improve your cinematography. More about that later, but let's jump into your footage. Let's review your content. So let me pull up the first video here. Alexander Monelli.
I wrestled all boys up until last year, and I was basically the only girl. I just felt like I fit in, and I wanted to prove something.
Okay, let's just break this down a bit here. Alexander, this shot, mwah. It looks like you couldn't like this room. It's a big space based on just kind of a couple of the shots I've seen here, a lot of handheld, a lot of available light. Seems like you probably had a tighter budget. That's okay. You're making do with what you have. This shot is beautiful. We have this incredible silhouette, this beautiful rim light here. We have the action of the athletes coming through. This shot is awesome. It's from someone's perspective. Anytime you as a cinematographer can look at people in the room and imagine what they're seeing and get a unique perspective of that, oh, this is great. This shot, very, very strong. And it leads into this next shot with this beautiful pool of light. Love this. Let's just pause it right there. Anytime you can pause a frame and you'd want to print that and hang that in your house, that is a good indication that it probably should be in your edit, perhaps if it works for the story. And also too, that you're thinking about your cinematography like a true artist. I love that you looked at this room, realized you didn't have control of it all, and you've added just that one light. Again, for cinematography, it's about creating pockets of shadow, pools of light. This is what you're trying to, even in this room right now, I've created this very bright pool of light on me, but I've made the background darker. This draws our eyes to the subject. My critique is, these other two shots seem to be in a brighter space. I love how tight they are. It's exciting.
All boys up until...
Boom, dynamic shots. She's coming towards camera. It's like, oh no, is she gonna break the camera? But compared to the black levels in these shots here, we have these rich shadows, dark, punchy contrast. I feel like you could have added a little more contrast in this. You don't want to push it too far because it's just kind of blank lighting. Again, this is why if you light an entire space and don't create those actual pockets of shadows on set or add negative fill, it will be tough to color correct it. But I feel like this almost feels like log footage here. It's very flat. You can see the shadow here in her face. It's still very bright. I would just add a little more contrast, bring maybe the exposure down 5% on these shots. But overall, I do love your cinematography style. It's dynamic.
Wow.
Let's go to our next person. By the way, thank you for everyone who read the instructions. You made your links downloadable, you put your name in the clip. It was awesome. A few of you did not do that, and I'm not reviewing your footage. Terrible, I know. I like rules. It's because I'm German. Moving on, there's so many good ones. If you guys want me to do these more in depth, let me know. If you're in the Cinematic Eye, we could do real reviews. That's our cinematography course. We've done that in the past. Let's go to Alexander Monelli, Roar.
Tonight is at the Silver Bowl, and Mother Nature brought us some snow. It's a football atmosphere. The games go, they don't get much bigger than this.
That game was crazy. That's the craziest game I've ever played in.
Okay, I would definitely hire you to shoot some sports stuff for me. Alex, this is very strong. Overall, I feel like a lot of you are afraid to have like good black levels. Like I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Let me just bring this in. I'll just show you here. If we get up our Lumetri scopes, like look at where everything's hanging. It's nothing is touching zero. Like if we just added a little more, like look at this shot here. If we just went into our curves and just added a little more, let's do this. We could even get to our, just crush those blacks. To me, it's just much more stronger than if we had just been in this world. It's very bright. Why you don't want to be afraid of contrast is contrast is depth. Contrast creates stronger shadows, and to me, it'll enhance your cinematography. I would also say, Alex, this shot is just so dope. I would just leave this for a bit and then get this title, because I wanted to stay in this world of the shot. Get this title over something like an aerial over the field or just something innocuous. It just feels like to add a title halfway through a shot, to me, feels strange. I would have just left the shot and then added that title to a different shot. But like, look at this shot here. Here it is before, feels like log, and just by adding a little bit of contrast, that now it feels like we're at nighttime. Even this guy, look at this. Let's go to before. Yeah, see his skin tones. You just add a little contrast and it's a quick way to make people's skin tones look better. Add that back, boom. Let's look. Off, on. An S-curve will add you saturation. The more crunched footage is, the more saturation's in there. If you're wondering why people look so pale, perhaps you're too afraid of that saturation. So pull it open, look at your black levels here, see where you're at, you know? Don't be afraid to crunch things down a bit. Don't go too far. Don't go to HBO levels. They sometimes pretty dark.
Prepare for the most epic battle of all time that nobody will see because it's too dark and we'll say it's because they have bad TVs.
But yeah, beautiful footage. You have a great eye, Alex. You're crushing it. Just, again, maybe you want to crush your blacks. Crush your footage and crush your blacks. The cinematography blacks. All right, here is Tom Betteretti.
My connection to the ocean has been one of healing and rewarding. Coastal miles of endless horizons.
Beautiful shots.
And sunsets and wild.
Oh my gosh, that's stunning.
You know, and I think that's what's so important.
Woo, great title.
Be really scary.
Yes. You see what I was saying? If you put this over the person swimming, it would suck, but you put it over just texture, so I'm reading that. And I love that you brought the colors in there and that your actual title here isn't all one color. That's beautiful. Oh, and then you have it defocused. Yes. Oh, cool. It's like a water transition. Tom, some great work here. Just quickly pick on this shot. For all of you, get that negative fill. It's beautiful. You have maybe a Helios or some sort of anamorphic. You're excellent cinematographer, but adding a little more shadow there would just be so helpful. It's always gonna be more interesting. So everyone, get your flags out, get your giant negative fill. We actually have a whole section in the Cinematic Eye or cinematography course about this, where we're talking about shooting in broad daylight and the importance of having negative fill. This is what we've done in the Cinematic Eye. We have over 70 videos and we're constantly adding more in. We just did a whole section about DaVinci Resolve color correction. We go through that whole process, but then expert cinematographer Nick Pilecki, him and I break down shooting in broad daylight. And we also have a ton of other cinematographers, from Christopher Romeike talking about handheld documentary setups to people like Maya Bankovic, who've worked on $12 million episodes for Netflix shows like Star Trek. She's absolutely crushing it right now. And we break down their cinematography. We both do it on set and in the studio, looking at the different shots, showing you practically how to improve your cinematography, how to have that cinematic eye, and how to use the tools available to you, whether it's just one light or having an entire crew at your disposal to create the cinematic shots that you want. So if you're interested in the Cinematic Eye or any one of our courses, we have 5 in the Art of Documentary. Doors are open right now. Depending when this video uploads, you still might be able to sneak in on our early bird sale. That's up to 35% off. That's when you bundle the courses. As you can see in this video, when I'm recording this, there's 3 days left. Hopefully we can get this YouTube video out in time so that you know about the sale, about the discount going on. Doors will be open for a couple more days. Courses will be back to full price, but get in. Cinematic Eye and the Art of Documentary is here to help you tell the most compelling films possible, help you make more money as a filmmaker, and create those films that are on your heart and mind. So thank you for the hundreds of filmmakers who've already joined AOD this week. We're now over 6,000 filmmakers around the world. These shots, I love seeing a cinematographer who's planned out where the sun is. That's beautiful. This just shows me effort, which makes me sad because you have this shot. Again, your footage is only as good as your worst shot. This is a really cool way to start, but then this shot, what is this? What was that? You go there to this beautiful silhouette. Just cut that shot. You have him walking across here. You could just hold this shot longer. So we have this flare coming in here. We have him silhouetted, this beautiful sky that you've held the exposure on. And then we're in this blue world. We're going through all these blue shots, this blue hour. It's really cool. Have some teal and orange going on here in this shot. Oh, this shot's awesome. Then this shot, what are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? This is just terrible. I gotta go after you because you're a really good cinematographer. And again, I think you're looking to get a shot of your character's face, but you should have got a better one. That's all I'll say. All right, we're gonna look at Zach Alvarez and Will Allen. Already? Beautiful.
Wow.
I would say this person's head is taking up a lot of the frame, but I don't know the story. That might be what you want to communicate. But I already can see a maturity in terms of color correction and contrast. We have some rich shadows here. You've really embraced the fluorescent green, so you've really pushed this. This light here is pretty peach. It would be cool if it was a bit more sodium vapor, a bit more yellow, but let's just see where this goes. See, that framing is nice. His head isn't as far into the frame.
Onions hate math. I don't see how you'll get coordinates out of them.
I gotta say, weird cut. It's a pretty big jump cut. It would have been nice to got your editor to even hold that out, just at the, because then it's boom. It's like this.
Next, you'll be telling me that crustacean.
And also too, you've gone really flat. We've had this dynamic. Look at all these shadows and pockets of light. Oh, this is beautiful cinematography. You have this halation going on here. That's where there's that red blooming and the highlights. You have all the shadows on his jacket, the kick on his face, and then boom. It's just so flat. It's kind of sad. The rest of the scene though is just so dynamic. We have the green off his face, the halation, the little kick on his jacket, your wardrobe. You've been thinking about all these things. You've added some haze to this room. I'm seeing this beautiful top lighting here on his head. Please don't cut back to that shot. Yeah, see, like, look, even this lighting. If you had that on his face, it's too bad. It's too bad. This whole sequence to me is kind of ruined by this shot. Perhaps you can just cut it out, because it's not really helping. But overall, very, very beautiful. Zach Alvarez and Will Allen. Good work, except for that shot. By the way, do you know this film? Akira? Anyways, comment below if you know this film. I love the t-shirt. The film is very weird. Still one of my favorite animes, just for the first beginning sequence alone. Back to this. All right, the next one here, Cave Diving Bosnia with Adam Katona. Ooh, this could be cool.
Bosnia and Herzegovina boasts diverse landscapes.
Gotta say, get a different narrator. I can't understand you. You're in bad.
You'll be in a better jail forever.
You either bring the music down and add your voice up, or I would say like have a glass of water and then do the narration again.
Where these beautiful landscapes lay hundreds of water-shaped cave systems. Still, most parts of them are water. Locals and researchers know them back. Unlike these professional Hungarian cave divers.
Oh, the music, friends. Yeah, I gotta do a video about music. It's all just so intense. This shot to me is out of place. It feels like a winery tour video and feels like stock video compared to the rest of your shots. But I would say we're already entering into the cave, and then now we're looking out of it, and now we're outside the cave. To me, this is probably more in editing than the cinematography, but it's a good thing to think about with your cinematography is, what is the movement? What do I want to do with this edit? Do I want to continue to go down into the cave? And when do I want to introduce the people in the cave? Because now I'm thinking, is this their perspective and now we're far away from them? I would just consider, pulling back your music, but also trying to get closer. If you have any other shots, like this one's awesome. This to me is the moment where I felt like I was cave diving.
To be at places.
Because I'm getting their perspective, but the rest of the time, I just kind of feel like I'm very far away. It feels like I'm looking in. I want to be more in depth. So the more of their point of view, their perspective, the more you can get of that, that'll be stronger. All right, this is Front Lines of Hope. This is by Daniel Hassel. Let's go to this.
I can't wait to be home next week. Man, this morning we've already been to the front lines and back.
So he's with me right now. He says he's gonna tell us what he's having. Are you there?
Getting close. Getting close.
That's awesome, man. Yep. Yeah. Just if we wouldn't have been back here for Dylan to get that phone call from his wife.
Okay, it's more so an editing thing. Your stuff's good. I would love to get in a bit closer if this is where you guys want to think about coverage. If you're in the middle of shooting and you're like this camera operator, you're one person, you have this wide shot, and then when you need to get in close here for this, obviously focus is an issue here. I would rather see you cut around that, even just cut in from this moment. This coverage is fine, but you gotta think, what's the third shot I could give that's a cutaway that we could cover anything? Even if they're about to leave, just say, hey guys, just hold up, can you stand there? And then I don't know this individual's name, but you could ask him just to listen. Just be like, can you just listen and nod a few times? That's called the counter shot. If you could just grab that one shot 20 seconds, 10 seconds. I mean, get longer, but if you can just grab that one shot and then get the other guy there just to hold his phone up, or maybe get a shot of his hand holding the phone. These are little moments at the end of a scene. You don't have to interrupt the flow, but you get those, and then man, your editing is seamless. What you could have done then is had this wide shot here. It's really dark. It's just too dark to even see them. You know, I would push the exposure a bit more. Even if it's grainy, we want to see the people. But if you could just then cut to his shot of his hand here, or this guy listening, rather than this big blurry mess where I'm trying to figure out what's happening, you could cover the scene so much more. So for you as a cinematographer, if you feel like your shots haven't been working, if there's defocused moments, or there's a wide that's dark like this, it is your job to give the editor extra footage to cover your mistakes. This is part of being a cinematographer. It's not going, well, that's all I got, they'll figure it out. No, get some coverage, get a cutaway, think about the edit. Even if you're one camera operator, get someone listening. It will feel awkward, it will feel weird in the moment, people will laugh for a bit and be like, oh, did I just got a nod? And you say yes. But your counter shot is so important. Thank you for everyone who sent in your footage. I know I couldn't get to all of you. I'll do this. If you're part of the Cinematic Eye and you sent me one of your clips here and I did not review it, send us an email. I'll make sure that we do a private Zoom call for Cinematic Eye members and we'll go through your cinematography. We'll break this down. If you're not part of Cinematic Eye, now's your chance. If you're not part of our documentary, now's your chance. We also have a thing called feedback hours. This is in our advanced documentary program. This is where people can get live feedback on their projects. We love our documentary. Now's your chance to join. And I know a lot of people say, now's not the right time. I would be more afraid for you in your career going another 6 months, another year without a community, without the knowledge, without the opportunity to make more money and get more jobs. The best thing you can invest in is yourself. Hope to see you inside that. If you're not, I'll still see you around this channel. Leave me the magic hour sunrise emoji, that little square with that magic hour, because that's when you should be shooting some of your footage. Not all your footage, but some of it. I hate goodbyes, but I love the city of Toronto. You guys just hand out parking tickets all day. Just making it rain, parking tickets. And now you're making us pay to park in front of my building. This was always a free street. Now we're paying. I'm gonna walk to work. See you in the next one.